School growing up was always tough for me, and I didn't really understand why. I could sit and read a book cover to cover in a day and a half without putting it down, but hand me an English book and I read the same page 8 times and couldn't remember a word. Struggled to complete assignments, to stay on task. It was just never something that interested me. I did just enough to get by. I always assumed when I was in high school I'd be a teacher. My parents are both teachers, and I saw the way they made a difference, but it just wasn't in my cards. I wanted to follow in my dad's leadership. I had taken a position at the board office to try and draw that path to the supervisory level, the leadership role that I was looking for. I was completely unfulfilled. I was miserable going to work, and the lack of education was clearly getting in the way of career advancement for me.
It was sort of like a Groundhog's Day, come in, press a bunch of buttons, and a lot of apathy. And Paul wore that physically. You could tell just watching him walk. He could, the weight of being in a position that was very unsatisfying.
I was diagnosed with ADHD about 15 years ago, I'm going to say at this point. And the light bulb went off where it was, okay, this is why that you weren't lazy and you weren't dumb and you weren't all those things that you kind of pounded into your head. You could learn, you could do those things that I just assumed weren't possible for me. About 7 years ago, I applied for a promotion at work and it was given to a colleague.
What held Paul back is Paul didn't have any paperwork. He didn't have the type of education background that made these other jobs achievable.
One of the suggestions was that I further my post-secondary education, and the program through OASBO was the certificate program here, and that's why I started that journey. It was really the first time that I succeeded in trying to learn. Just a great overall experience in kickstarting that. Okay, I've got more, I can give more, I can learn more, I can do more.
I approached him and encouraged him to consider being a part of the diploma and school board admin, as I really believed it could help to advance his career.
It required a university degree, and for years I've been told without it you can't do it, so I just politely declined and said thanked her for her suggestion, and that was the end of it in my mind.
And then later decided he really wanted to do it, which I was delighted by. But we had a few obstacles to face. Because Paul didn't meet the admissions criteria, he needed to submit some additional information for special graduate consideration.
Well, I received a call from Beverly saying that the application had been denied. I was heartbroken. It was something that I had allowed myself to want, and it was just another no and a long line of, you can't do this because you don't have a formal education.
We regrouped, strategized, and decided that he would appeal the decision, something that his pride did not want to do initially.
I didn't think I could handle another no, and she was adamant that I could do it and I was capable and it was time.
And as well as his appeal, I would advocate to the committee that we admit him to the program conditional upon him getting a minimum of 70% for his first course.
As the weeks grew and as the assignments went in and as the marks came back, I gained a little more and more confidence. Once the first course wrapped up was the first time that I thought maybe, just maybe I can get my way through this.
I think it was like a rebirth for him that not only could he do it, but he had a great interest in it and did very well. Not everybody's ready at the same time and the same age, and that's that continuing education. People come to it at different times in their life, and for Paul, it was the right time.
He exceeded 70% on that course and all the courses that followed. The last course he took in the Diploma and School Board Administration program, he received the highest grade in the class, and that was amidst classmates who had degrees and graduate degrees.
When I received the diploma, they asked if I would speak at the convocation, and again, that's way out of my comfort zone. My wife insisted that we come and bring our daughter so she could see just what I had accomplished.
And he spoke so eloquently. Many people's eyes filled with tears as we listened to Paul talk about the struggles he had with learning disabilities. He came to the program feeling like a fraud, and he left with tremendous amount of confidence. And Paul's story of determination and perseverance reminds us that we can each take steps to improve our lives.
I think everybody should look at continuing education. I think it's great to open doors you thought were closed. Professionally, it has opened a door and it has changed my job. I like my role a lot better. I'm happy to go to work. I'm excited to use the skills that I feel I bring to the table. The only limits you have are the limits you place on yourself.